Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So friends, in this video we will have our discussion on the series which we have started on the Rahu and Ketu. So after getting into the elaborative side of understanding Ketu, its contribution in your life, now we will start going further deep in understanding the spiritual significance of Rahu in our life. In the last video where we talked about and we tried to understand the Rahu's placement in different houses, where I'm very grateful that I got some very good participation. Now in this video we will try to look at Rahu's zodiac sign placement as well. See friends, I always say this thing that when it comes down to Rahu and Ketu, there is no hard and fast rule. Like you cannot say with confidence that Rahu is strong in these houses or Rahu is strong in these zodiac signs, whether Rahu has aspect or not, which sign could be considered as Rahu's exaltation or debilitation. Even amongst the scholars, even in the classics, there is a lot of the debate and disagreement over there. But like the way I always say, Saturn can be understood through service and Rahu Ketu can be understood through spirituality. See, it's not an exaggeration to say this thing that people who are punished by the destiny or people who are favored by the destiny are the people who have strong Rahu Ketu axis in their natal chart. See friends, all those kind of cases we see, we hear even from the classics. Like let's take up the case of the Mahabharata as well. Like Karan, irrespective of being so jubilant talented, had his own brothers would have known this thing that Karan is one of the Pandavas, they would have given him the kingdom. But even after that, the whole life he has to endure the allegations of being a lowborn from everyone. Same is the case of the Dhritarashtra, same is the case of the Bhishma as well. And even friends, if you will take up the modern day context as well, like right now there has been a lot of the debate on this second presidential tenure of Donald Trump, whether you are in favor, whether you are not in favor. I'm sure you would be having some strong opinion, but let me take you a little bit back in the time when on January 6, 2021, when that Capitol Hill protest happened. If at that point of time anyone would have said this thing that the same person will become the president second time, you all would have laughed. Like even if I were to take up the case of the Punjab, one of the state province in India, the current chief minister, like at the time when he was promoting, the election was going on, the kind of theatrics for which he was in the news, if anyone would have predicted that he could be the chief minister, everyone would have laughed and no one would have believed. But these are the people with a very strong destiny. Now, I'm not commenting on their capability, their talent or their intention. I'm purely talking from the point of view of the destiny. Rahu and Ketu are the destiny's child. Understanding their axis in your natal chart becomes very important. And all those people who want to ascend to their highest potential, like when we talk about ascending in the path of burning, exhausting all of your karmas and heading in the path of the liberation, or this could be unlocking some supernatural talents which you could have access to. So understanding Rahu Ketu becomes very important. So yes friends, now in this video we will try to understand the spiritual significance of Rahu's placement in different zodiac signs. Now friends, whatever I will be explaining over here, what I have written in my moon notebook, the narration part which we will shift to, it's a combination of the Nadi Jyotish, of the Lal Kitab, of the Jaimini Sutras, Bharat Hora Shastra, and I will also try to give some mention of the Puranic stories as well. So okay friends, after this now we will shift our discussion to the narration part and we will try to understand Rahu's placement in all the zodiac signs, and I look forward to the same level of participation, engagement like the way I received in the last video, because it is a research community. We all learn from each other. So whatever you feel is like resonating with you or has been your story, please feel welcome to write it in the or share it with us in the comment section. So okay, now let's shift to the narration part. Rahu does not bring new desire into your life. Rahu brings back what your soul could not finish in a previous birth. So, most people fear Rahu, but scriptures do not describe Rahu as evil. They describe Rahu as memory, memory of desire, memory of obsession, memory of unfinished karma. So friends, in this video we will not talk about like career, marriage, prediction. In this sign Rahu is strong, in this sign Rahu is weak, in this sign Rahu can make you millionaire. So in this video we will decode Rahu in the 12 zodiac signs purely from a spiritual and karmic lens, drawing from the Prashara, Nadi Jyotish and Lal Kitab principles. So this video is for those who are ready to look at Rahu without fear. So friends, Rahu is a Chaya Graha, a shadow planet. A shadow has no substance of its own. It only repeats what already existed. So that is why Ketu shows what the soul has mastered and Rahu shows where the soul is still bound. So Rahu does not punish. Rahu pulls the soul back to complete unfinished homework. So now let us just enter the signs slowly, consciously. So friends, starting first with Rahu's placement being in the Aries zodiac sign. So what could be the soul trap for you? So that is power without wisdom. So in the past life, the soul might have misused the strength, courage or authority. Action was taken without restraint and the force power replaced the discernment. So Rahu in the Aries carries the karma of impulsive dominance. The spiritual lesson is not to lose courage but to discipline it. Only when will bows to dharma does Rahu calm down here. So friends, if I were to point it down, so like the way we have discussed that the soul trap for you is the use of the power without wisdom. So the past life entanglement, if I need to point it out, the past life entanglement for you is abuse or misuse of strength, authority, weapons or courage in the past life, acting without the moral restraint, warrior karma without the dharmic alignment. So what is the debt, the karmic debt you have? So debt towards those harmed by the impulsive or the violent actions. I have seen many people who run the NGOs and especially like for those people who even in Canada and US, like when the government brings the war affected people back in their home country, they give them asylum. Somehow the people who are there to welcome them and they like arrange all the donations and help the resettlement of the war affected people. So if your Rahu is in the Aries, this might be a way for you to pay back your debt. So debt toward those harmed by the impulsive or violent actions. Lal Kitab hints like this is the rin, the debt of the bloodshed and the rash leadership. Now what is the spiritual lesson for you? So learn the restraint before action and convert the raw will into disciplined courage. And friends, if I were to like package it in a spiritual sense, so the scriptural echo of this combination of Rahu being in the Aries has more to do with the demonic Mars Rahu archetype, like the Rakshasic Mars Rahu archetype, where the force has been used in the past life without the dharma. So and also friends, because I promised that I will give you a reference of the Puranas as well. So this is the karma of the unrestrained warrior. In the Puranas, Ashwathama survives the Mahabharat war. So if you do not know about the Ashwathama, do search it on the Google. So Ashwathama got this curse that he will endure his life to the end of the Kali Yuga and he will face all the hardship just because he committed a sin. So in the Puranas, Ashwathama survives the Mahabharat war, not because he is righteous, but because his karma is unfinished. Rahu in the Aries carries the memory, a soul that once acted without restraint, without wisdom, without accountability. So power was exercised faster than the dharma. So the lesson here is not the weakness, It is discipline of force. So until courage bows to conscience, Rahu keeps reincarnating the warrior. Now friends, moving ahead, now let's talk about Rahu's placement in the Taurus zodiac sign. So what does it tell about the soul trap? So attachment to the pleasure and the matter. This placement carries the past life hunger. This could be for the food, for wealth, for comfort, for sensuality. The soul once believed security lies in possession. Nadi text describe this as bhog rin, debt of indulgence. Liberation comes when enjoyment is replaced by contentment. Rahu teaches impermanence through excess. Now, friends, if I were to put it in a proper categories, so we know that Rahu in the Taurus, the trap for the soul is about attachment to matter and pleasure. So what does it tell about the past life entanglement? It tells about excessive indulgence in wealth, food, sensuality. It tells about hoarding or misusing resources. It tells about pleasure chosen over responsibility. So now comes the question, what could be the way by which you can pay back your karmic debt? So just because your debt is related to food, land, money, sensual harm, so through your association with any NGOs or any charitable institution, you can pay back this debt. I have seen people who are, because in many of the classics, Rahu is been attached with the homeless people, beggars, drug addict and all. So even I live in Vancouver, I see many times many NGOs in proper areas which has been resided more by the addicts and the homeless people. People come there and they distribute, donate the food items and the clothes, something like this. So the Nadi Jyotish tells about this placement and the karmic debt as bhog without balance creates rebirth hunger. So indulgences without balance creates rebirth hunger. The spiritual lesson for you is detachment from the possession and understanding the impermanence of comfort. And what could be the blessing for you with this placement? So ability to master material plane after detachment. Now friends, just because I mentioned that I will be giving you a mention of the Puranas as well with this placement of Rahu in different zodiac signs. So this can be seen as the curse of endless enjoyment. Now in the story of the king Yayati, pleasure was chosen over the duty. Youth was borrowed and desire was extended. So friends, those who do not know this story of King Yayati, so he was a powerful ruler of the lunar dynasty and he was cursed with premature old age due to his indulgence and moral lapse. Now he was not able to accept this decline. He chose pleasure over duty and asked his sons, one of his children, his son, to exchange their youth for his old age. Only his youngest son, Puru, agreed, sacrificing his own youth out of obedience and dharma. Now Yati, the king Yati, he enjoyed worldly pleasures for many years, but eventually realized that desire is never fulfilled by indulgence. It's like throwing more butter in a burning fire. So awakening to the truth, he renounced the pleasure, returned the youth to his son Puru, and crowned him king and retired to the forest, learning that unchecked desire leads only to exhaustion, not contentment. So talking about this, this story of the king Yati, where the pleasure was chosen over the duty, youth was borrowed, desire was extended, but fulfillment never arrived. So Rahu in Taurus hold this same imprint: pleasure mistaken for peace, comfort mistaken for security, and Nadi texts say indulgences bhog. Bhoga enjoyed without awareness becomes rebirth. The soul must learn contentment. Only then does abundance stop binding. Now friends, moving ahead to the Rahu's placement in the Gemini. So So what could be the soul trap for you? So this tells about the misuse of intellect and speech. In previous incarnations, words were used to manipulate, deceive, or confuse. Truth was bent for advantage. This creates a karmic debt towards speech and communication. The spiritual correction is silence before speech and integrity before cleverness. Mercury purified by awareness dissolves Rahu here. Now, if friends, I need to put it down in specific categories. So, as we have discussed that this placement of Rahu in the Gemini tells about the soul trap as manipulation of the knowledge. So, it tells about the past life entanglement as misuse of speech, lies, deception, half truths, manipulating minds through words, and intellectual arrogance. The karmic debt which you possess is debt towards the truth. No matter what is going to be the consequence, you always have to speak the truth. Lal Kitab tells about that this is a curse of speech distortion. What could be the spiritual lesson? So there has to be a purification of the communication, silence as the sadhana, and the scriptural tone for you is shadow of Mercury, buddhi, intellect without vivek. So this is how it has been labeled in the classics. Like this is the shadow of Mercury, mind without vivek. So this is the area where you have to work in this lifetime. Now what do we get to know from the Puranas regarding this placement? So this is the karma of the distorted speech. Like in the Ramayana, goddess Kaikeyi, she did not lie, but her words destroyed harmony. So those who do not know about it, so see in the Ramayana, Queen Kaikeyi, she did not lie. She spoke within her granted boons. So the thing is, her husband, Raja King Dashrath, the queen once saved his life, the king's life, her husband's life in a battleground, to which the king was very happy, and he granted her that whenever you will ask me for any boon, any wish, I will fulfill that no matter what the condition is going to be. So that's what it has been mentioned over here in connection with Rahu in the Gemini, that in the Ramayana, Queen Kaikeyi, she did not lie when she asked for Lord Rama's exile. So Queen Kaikeyi did not lie. She spoke within her granted boons, yet her words shattered harmony. Persuaded by the mantra, she demanded Rama's exile and Bharata's coronation, not through falsehood but rigid insistence on her rights. Dashrath, bound by truth, collapsed under grief, and the royal family was torn apart. Kaikeyi later realized that truth spoken without compassion can be as destructive as deceit. Her regret revealed a deeper lesson of the Ramayana. Dharma is not merely about speaking truth, but about the timing, intent, and wisdom. Words, even when true, can wound when detached from empathy and higher duty. So yes friends, this is about Rahu being in the Gemini. Now talking about Rahu being in the Cancer. So the soul trap for you is about the emotional dependency. This soul clung to the family, lineage, emotional security. Love became attachment and care became control. Nadi Jyotish associate this with ancestral and maternal karmas. Liberation begins with emotional sovereignty, loving without binding. So friends, as we have discussed that the soul trap with this placement of Rahu is with emotional dependency. Now if we have to place it in several categories, so how about the past life entanglement? So this tells about clinging to family, lineage, emotional security, using emotions to bind others, fear-based nurturing, the karmic debt which the person has to deal with in this lifetime, debt to motherline or ancestral woman, unresolved lineage karma. The spiritual lesson for you is about emotional sovereignty, serving without attachment, and the Nadi hints about birth will repeat until emotional independence is learned. Now friends, when we talk about the mention of the Puranas, so the bondage of the emotional attachment, like think about the Dhritarashtra. He was not only blind in sight but in emotional attachment to his lineage as well. So those who do not know about this story, so we all know that irrespective of knowing this fact that like the Kauravas, his children, were doing all the things which were against the dharma, but just because of his love towards his lineage, towards his children, towards Duryodhan, he kept on supporting it. So that is what has been mentioned over here, that Dhritarashtra, blind just not in sight but in emotional attachment to his lineage as well. So Rahu in Cancer is emotional clinging from the past lives, family over dharma, attachment over truth, protection over growth. This creates ancestral rin, debt. So liberation comes when love is offered without possession. Now friends, moving ahead, now let's say for example, if you have to understand Rahu being in the Leo zodiac sign, so the soul trap is about ego, recognition and the kingship. In past lives, authority was asked for validation. The self stood above dharma. Lal Kitab warns of the false pride karma here. Rahu humbles the soul until leadership becomes service, not performance. Only then does light return to Leo. So friends, with this placement, if we have to put it in several categories, because we have understood that Rahu in the Leo and the soul trap is about ego, fame and recognition. What could be the past life entanglement? So desire for authority, kingship, applause, ego placed above dharma, leadership used for self-glory. The karmic debt is debt to followers or the subjects. Lal Kitab talks about curse of the false pride. Spiritual lesson is about humble leadership, authority as service. And if I need to present the extract of all the scriptures, it tells about a fallen king seeking redemption. And friends, like the mention of the Puranas. So in the Puranas, King Nahusha ascends to the Indra's throne, then falls due to arrogance. So friends, there is a story in the Puranas where the king Nahusha rose to immense power when he temporarily ascended Indra's throne during Indra's absence. Now blessed with radiant energy from the sages, gods and the cosmic beings, his glory became unmatched. But power bred arrogance. Drunk with authority, Nahusha forced the revered sages to carry his palanquin and insulted Agastya by striking him with his foot. This act of hubris shattered his merit. Agastya cursed Nahusha to fall from heaven as a serpent. His descent taught a timeless Puranic lesson that power without humility leads to ruin, and divine elevation lasts only as long as reverence for dharma and sages remains intact. Now friends, moving ahead, now if you have to understand Rahu being placed in the Virgo, so the trap for the soul trap is about control and perfection. The soul once judged more than it healed. Correction replaced compassion. This creates mental rigidity and service without softness. Rahu teaches acceptance through imperfection. When compassion enters analysis, this placement becomes a master healer. So friends, like putting it in and understanding it in several categories. So you would have understood that Rahu in the Virgo has to do with the perfectionism and control. Now what could be the past life entanglement? So there might have been obsession with the purity, details and control, judgment of others, service without compassion. The karmic debt has to do with the debt from criticism, fault finding, mental over analysis karma. The spiritual lesson for you is compassion over correction, acceptance of imperfection, and the blessing for you is master healer after the surrender. It's the same state. And friends, talking about the mention of the Purana, so see, the obsession with the purity. In many stories, the sages fall not through the lust but through judgment and the rigidity. So Rahu in the Virgo holds the karma of excessive correction, healing without compassion, control disguised as service. The soul must learn healing begins where judgment ends. Perfection dissolves, compassion liberates. Now, friends, after this, let's move to Rahu being placed in the Libra. So, what does it tell about the trap for the soul? The soul trap. It has to do with the karmic relationship. This is one of the strongest past life placements. Broken promises, unbalanced partnership, emotional transactions all repeat here. Lal Kitab calls this as the relationship run, like the relationship debt. Liberation happens when love is given without negotiation. Balance without attachment is the key. So, friends, if I were to put it in a proper category, so you would have understood that the soul trap of Rahu in Libra is about the karmic relationship. Now, what does it tell about the past life entanglement? It tells about unresolved partnership, manipulation in love, contract, alliances, dependency masked as harmony. The karmic debt is strong debt, rin to the partners. Lal Kitab talks about ran, like debt of broken promises. Spiritual lesson is balance without attachment, love without transaction, and the Nadi principle talks about relationship karma repeats until neutrality is achieved. So, friends, the mention of the Puranas. So, Rahu in the Libra can be seen as the debt of unfinished relationship, and especially uh, think of Shakuntala and the Dushyant, love interrupted by the memory loss. So, those who do not know about it, Shakuntala, the gentle daughter of the sage Vishwamitra, she fell in love with the king Dushyanta in a forest hermitage, and they married in a Gandharv union. Lost in love, Shakuntala unknowingly offended sage Durvasa and was cursed that Dushyanta would forget her until shown a token of recognition. On her way to the palace, she lost the ring given by the king and was rejected. Only when the ring was recovered did Dushyanta memory return. So their reunion restored dharma and love, and their son Bharat became a legendary emperor, teaching that love endures trials shaped by fate and destiny. Now, friends, like understanding Rahu's placement in the Scorpio. So, the soul trap for this placement is hidden power and secrecy. Now, this soul touched deep forces like Tantra, secrets, control, but without purification. Rahu here indicates unresolved power karma. Truth dissolves the fear, and transparency dissolves the Rahu. Only ethical transformation frees this placement. So, friends, if I were to put it in several categories, so the soul trap for Rahu in Scorpio is occult power and secrecy. The past life entanglement is misuse of Tantra, secrets, hidden knowledge, power through fear or control, obsession with transformation. Now, the karmic debt for you is like there is definitely heavy karmic residue. Lal Kitab talks about this placement as curse of hidden enemies. Now, the spiritual lesson for you with this placement is purification of the power and truth over secrecy. See, this is a typical essence of the shadow of the Mahakal energy. And talking about, friends, the Puranic mention of this, how could we associate it? So imagine as if I were to give a reference, the shadow of misused power, this is the karma of the Bhasmasur, granted power without wisdom. So, friends, those who do not know about it, Bhasmasur, a fierce demon, Asur, performed severe penance to please Lord Shiva and gained a deadly boon. Anyone whose head he touched would turn to ashes. Consumed by ego and desire, he sought to test the power on the Shiva himself. To protect cosmic order, Lord Vishnu appeared as the enchanting Mohini. Captivated, Bhasmasur blindly imitated her dance. When Mohini placed her hand on her own head, Bhasmasur followed without thought and was instantly reduced to ashes. So his end revealed the law of karma. Power gained without wisdom and restraint destroy its possessor before it harm others. So, Rahu in the Scorpio will reflect what we learn from the scriptures or from the story of the Bhasmasur is Tantra without purity. So, Rahu in the Scorpio will reflect Tantra without purity, secrets without ethics, power without responsibility. It means you might have got access to secret, but you used it to manipulate. You did not demonstrate proper ethics. So that's what I'm trying to say. And Rahu here binds until fear is replaced by truth. Only transparency frees this soul. Now friends, Rahu being in the Sagittarius. So the soul trap is false belief systems. In past lives, the soul taught without realization. Faith became dogma and knowledge became authority. This creates spiritual arrogance karma. Rahu forces humility until wisdom is embodied, not preached. The false guru must become a student again. Now, friends, if I were to put it in several categories, like we have understood that the soul trap is about false belief system. So, what could be the past life entanglement? So, it talks about misguiding others spiritually. So, the person might have misguided others spiritually. So, we keep on coming across many like false guru, those guru who get entangled into scandals, and when there has been an investigation on their past and the whole operation, we get to know about many biasness, many contradictions. So yes, Rahu being in the Sagittarius just tells about misguiding others spiritually, dogma without realization, teaching without embodiment. Now what is the karmic debt you have? You have the debt towards the students or the followers. Distortion of the dharma. And what could be the spiritual lesson for you? So humility before the higher truth, learning before teaching, and the blessing for you is become true guru after surrender. And friends, talking about some Puranic reference to make you believe this placement, so or to make you understand this placement. So this is the fall of the false guru. So in the Puranas, many rishis lose their tapas when pride enters the knowledge. So Rahu in the Sagittarius remembers teaching without realization and belief without humility. The soul must become a student again. Only embodied wisdom liberates Rahu here. Now friends, moving ahead, now let's say for understanding Rahu being in the Capricorn. So it just tells about the, like, how could you connect with the soul trap? So it has more to do with the ruthless ambition. Power structures were used without conscience. Systems were valued over people. This creates the debt towards workers, subordinates, and society. Rahu teaches ethical responsibility. Only service-oriented ambition survives here. So if I were to put it in several categories, we have understood that the soul trap with this placement of Rahu has to do with ambition and control of systems. So it tells about the past life entanglement as ruthless ambition might have been exerted, exploiting structures, governments, hierarchies, material success without soul alignment. Now what could be the karmic debt? So this tells about the debt to the workers or the subordinates. Lal Kitab talks about rin of, like debt of authority misuse. The spiritual lesson with this placement of Rahu has to do with the ethical responsibility and building without oppression. The spiritual note for you is Saturn Rahu karma of endurance. And friends, talking about the Puranic connection with this, like what Puranic story can give can justify this placement of Rahu in the Capricorn. So this talks about the karma of the ruthless ambition. So think of Hiranyakashyap. So like friends, those who do not know about his story, so Hiranyakashyap, a powerful Asura king, he gained near invincibility through severe penance, securing boons that he could not be killed by man or beast, by day or night, indoors or outdoors. Inflated with pride, he declared himself God and persecuted devotees, even his own son Prahlad. Despite torture, Prahlad's faith in Vishnu remained unshaken. To uphold dharma, Vishnu appeared as Narsimha, neither man nor beast, at twilight on a threshold and destroyed Hiranyakashyap. His fall affirmed a central Puranic truth: ego that challenges cosmic order is crushed, while unwavering devotion transcends all fear and limitations. So in short, this story of the Hiranyakashyap just talks about structure, order, discipline, but without compassion. Rahu in the Capricorn carries the karma of system over soul, authority over empathy. Lal Kitab speaks of the debt to the subordinates. Liberation comes when ambition serves life, not dominates it. Now, friends, understanding Rahu's placement in the Aquarius, so the soul trap is detachment from the humanity. This is an old soul, mature soul placement. In previous lives, the soul served the system, ideas, and the collectives, but forgot emotional connection. Nadi text describe this as collective karma. Liberation comes when intellect bows to compassion, serve the masses, but don't abandon the heart. So, if I were to place it in several categories, you would have understood that the soul trap is isolation and detachment from humanity. So, the past life entanglement might have been serving system over individuals, emotional detachment, scientific or intellectual coldness. So, the karmic debt is debt to collective humanity, neglect of emotional bonds. Now, what is the spiritual lesson with this placement? Serve the masses with compassion. Balance intellect with heart. And the Nadi insight is old soul repeating incarnation for the collective dharma. Friends, if I were to give you a reference from the Purana, so this is the old soul's isolation. This is the karma of the Shukracharya, brilliant, wise, but often isolated. So we all know that Shukracharya, the brilliant guru of the Asuras, possessed profound knowledge of the mantras, statecraft, and the secret of the Sanjeevani Vidya, the art of reviving the dead. Yet his fierce loyalty to the Asuras and his rigid pride often isolated him from the divine harmony. Though wiser than many gods, his counsel was frequently ignored or resisted, leaving him frustrated and alone. Even when he spoke truth, it clashed with destiny and ego. So, Shukracharya's karma reveals a subtle lesson of the Puranas. Wisdom without flexibility and humility can lead to solitude and knowledge, though vast does not guarantee inner peace. So, in short, friends, so the karma of Shukracharya, brilliant, wise, but often isolated. So it just tells about Rahu in the Aquarius shows the detachment from individuals, service to system, emotional distance. The soul must learn, serve humanity, but remain human. Compassion reconnects the head to the heart. And lastly, friends, talking about Rahu being in the Pisces, so the soul trap is spiritual escapism. The soul renounced without completing worldly duty. Illusion was mistaken for moksha. Lal Kitab warns of the false renunciation debt here. False renunciation rin here. True liberation comes not by escape, but by integrating spirituality with responsibility. So if I were to place it in several different categories, friends, because the soul trap you would have understood is about spiritual escapism. So the past life entanglement would have been escaping reality through spirituality, renunciation without responsibility, illusion mistaken for the moksha. The karmic debt is debt from abandoning duties. Lal Kitab talks about the debt or the rin of the false renunciation. The spiritual lesson is moksha through responsibility, grounded spirituality. The spiritual essence or extract of this placement is the wandering ascetic who must return to the society. So friends, if I were to give you a Puranic mention, so this is the illusion of the false moksha, like this is the story of the wandering ascetic who renounced without completing his duty. Rahu in the Pisces binds through spiritual escapism, illusion mistaken for liberation. So Lal Kitab warns of false renunciation debt or rin. So true moksha comes not by escape but by integrated living. So friends, Rahu is not a demon to defeat. Rahu is a story to complete. Like where Rahu sits, the soul says, I once stopped halfway. Completion is liberation. So if this video stirred something deep within you, it means Rahu is active not outside but within. So walk consciously and finish the story. So yes friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. Once again, thanks a lot for watching this video, and for further more updates and notification on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. धन्यवाद.